Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt. I'm here with Dean McMurray, the military medium. This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today.
We hope that you aren't upset that we're starting a little bit early. We're excited. We're ready to go. So we figured, let's go 3 minutes early. Why not? No big deal, right?
Right. Absolutely.
That's what happens when you're on top of things. And I am proud to say I am on top of things despite being inundated with all kinds of insanity. But I'm on top of it. Good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being a prolific surfer, right? You think of the wave being so chaotic and everything and trying to keep your balance and ride that wave in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So have you been riding the wave? How's it been going for you?
I have. Things have been busy. Things have been, I wouldn't say chaotic, but things have been active and finding the balance within that. Things are good. Things are great. So for sure.
Well, active is the word of the day because the email box has been active. We've been getting letters from listeners who they crave your help in particular.
Uh-oh.
The psychic medium has been called to the table. So let's just get right to it. The first one comes from Lily. And she says, my last question sent in on the app was amazingly answered, and I was told to look into an acupuncturist. I miraculously found an acupuncturist who has not only treated me for my knee pain, she has also been my spiritual teacher. I truly believe she is an angel and delivers messages from God to me, and I now want to ask about a new relationship and a new chapter in my life. So, any insight on this burning desire in my heart that is growing more and more? Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoy the show.
Well, when it comes to relationships, there's so many facets, right? Of, what are you asking? Is this the right person? Is this the one per se? Or, exactly what is the question in relation to this new relationship? But one of the things that I would challenge Lily, because she talks about this acupuncturist finding her spiritual teacher, a connection, if you will, is to listen to her intuition. Obviously, she listened to the advice and her intuition to lead her to find this acupuncturist. But I would also say that and challenge anyone to listen to their intuition, whether they're in a relationship or not. And, listen to your heart. What is it telling you? And typically, those new relationship flutters, after a while, they'll subside or whatever. But, intuitively, really, no BS. What is your intuition telling you? But, I guess if you want my psychic 2 cents on it for Lily, energetically, initially, it feels good. It feels like the energetic connection and as far as the frequencies matching each other feel good on that aspect. So initially when I connect, if you will, it feels good. So continue to feel into that relationship and trust your intuition, Lily. So and really I would give that advice to anybody, regardless whether you're in a new relationship or not.
Absolutely. And by the way, in the live stream, hello to Karina. Hello to the Facebook user who said hello. So hello to everybody.
Hello.
And I'll just throw in my 2 cents on that and point out something that she said. I mean, it just sounds like from what she said. Any insight on this burning desire in my heart that is growing more and more? I mean, you got that going on. You don't need a psychic medium to tell you you are on the right track. Something's going to manifest out of that.
Right.
I mean, if you were sitting there saying, well, I'm not really sure I really want a relationship, I'm kind of lukewarm on it, that's another story. But when you've got this burning desire going on, something's going to happen, I guarantee it.
Well, and regardless of whether it's for somebody or for something, right?
Right.
And, talking about manifesting things within your life. So if you have a burning desire for example, for this relationship, for this individual, for a new business idea, it all starts with desire. And when you're able to match your frequency to that which you are yearning for, and great things happen. It's just like, they say that the stars align and it's like sparks and everything, in a sense, I suppose it is, right? And it's like we go back to those early days and maybe some relationships out there, and it's like, whoa, so for sure, it's when you're able to match frequencies, magical things happen.
And I'm seeing more and more people checking in on the live stream. So hello to Hope, hello to Jeffrey. And if you have a question of your own you want to bring up for Dean to answer, by all means, post it into the comments of whichever page you're looking at. We'll be able to bring it into the show. One more thought that I wanted to add too. Lily mentioned that the person who she found as an acupuncturist, first of all, she credited you. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. She's the one who attracted the acupuncturist. Right. You get credit for recommending it. I mean, certainly you recommend it. So,
but
you
it's
get credit
her.
For that. But she's the one who did it,
Has nothing to do about me.
Not really, no.
It's just, yeah.
I'm just the voice. A little voice. Yeah, you gave her a little idea. That's it.
Yeah. It's all about her.
She did it. And what's even more important and impressive is she attracted an acupuncturist who became a spiritual teacher for her, which is really good. I mean, that's great manifesting right there. So I combine that with her burning desire, and I say to myself, not only is something bound to happen, something good is bound to happen. Yeah. When you say that you're getting a good vibe, that just kind of reinforces it for me.
Right,
so
right.
That's good. Really
good things coming up for Lily. Good
that's exciting. How about that? Yeah. And then we have an email from Bridge, and Bridge says, hey, first off, just want to say thank you all for everything you are doing and bringing to the show every day. Absolutely love Dean. Totally helped me out before and was so on with my questions. So hopefully he can give me some insight today. I'm hoping he can give me some insight coming in regarding my eyes constantly twitching for a few weeks now. Just wants to make sure it's nothing I need to get checked out. So thank you in advance. You all have brought a lot of joy to my life with all of your helpful tools. Eyes twitching. Have you heard that one before?
Well, I've not specifically eyes, but I've heard a lot of different people talk about a lot of different, maybe say body reactions as far as, and of course, and thank you so much, Bridge. That was so nice of you. But I would share first and foremost that anybody that's having any type of body reaction that they're unsure of course, I'm always going to say, if you feel guided, please refer to your primary healthcare provider. I'm not a doctor. I'm not I had some first aid training back in the day, so, it's like going to the guy on the side. Hey, no. But so
he was in the military. He wasn't in the medical school. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah,
right?
I did some. Yeah. So, what I would share with Bridge though is it feels energetic to me. It feels. I would kind of ask Bridge, what is it that you're trying to open your eyes to see? That's what I keep on hearing in my head, is not saying that you were blind per se, but almost like, you want to see something more clearly or get a bigger field of view on something. And it's almost like your eyes trying to adjust to the aperture, right? And expanding awareness to that. And it's almost like the eye is like, starting to shake or twitch or whatever. So, and obviously we understand that, it can be from a lot of things, but what it feels to me like there is something energetic and emotional, but mostly energetic. So I would look into that, but obviously I'm always going to revert back to, hey, if you need to go see the optometrist or your primary healthcare provider, please do that. But again, feel something energetic. And I would ask Bridge, what are you trying to see at a bigger level? That would be my first question. But Now, it feels like really with Bridge, though, it feels that he's getting a great grasp on a lot of things around him, and he's trying to put together a quintessential puzzle and just really wanting to know how everything works in conjunction with each other. That's what I'm kind of shown, like the whole, you want to see the whole enchilada. I want to understand everything, right? And so it's like trying to get that 3,000 foot view. And it's like, ooh, you're putting the limits on the old camera, and and that's okay, because sometimes you're pushing your envelopes. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just, but I just feel that the body is like, not glitching on you. You're putting a little strain on your eyes. So,
by the way, I think Bridge is actually a she. So
sorry.
Yeah.
So he, she, them.
Right,
Bridge anyways.
Bridge is a little bit neutral, so I can understand why you might come to that conclusion.
So,
but I think it's for Bridget myself.
Okay, so my apologies if it's short for Bridget. So, but regardless of sexual orientation,
Jeffrey points something out here. How about the third eye? Could this be third eye related?
Sure. Well, absolutely, and that's great. Thank you for bringing that up, Jeffrey. Is that absolutely is because sometimes expanding awareness, and sometimes it's part of my vocabulary. I don't even think to explain that is expanding a viewpoint or seeing things is not just on our plane of view, right? It can be on the spiritual plane as well. So trying to expand your awareness or your third eye. Now, is it always the third eye? No. Because sometimes then people have like headaches, they have different things like that as well. And sometimes there will be other associated factors, but it's a great point that Jeffrey pointed out that it can be third eye related. But specifically, it does feel like for Bridge is that where it feels more like I said, an expanded awareness or, trying to see things from a bigger level. But
okay, that's good. Yeah, hopefully that's useful to Bridge, and also hopefully Lily, this was also useful to her. Once again, if you're in the live stream, if you're tuned in live and you have something that you want to ask Dean, by all means, plug it into your comments on whatever page or YouTube or whatever you're listening to us on, and we'll be glad to include it. And hello to anybody who I might have missed who's been saying hello. A lot of people saying hello. That was really good. I want to ask you something else too. We've been doing a lot of experiments lately, you and I, psychic experiments.
Yeah.
And having some interesting results. One of the things that I have done recently that I haven't done in a long time is I have this deck, of course. I showed you this deck last time.
Oh, yeah, the energy one.
The energy deck. And I haven't been using that in like months and months and months. And then because we had it out for the show, I just kind of reached over for it a couple of days ago. And I used it as a way to kind of connect and get an answer on something.
Sure.
I have this on top of everything else that I'm doing with the gardening business and so forth. I actually had another idea of something to do. Like I need something more to do, and I kind of put it out there, like what are the chances of this thing? And so I picked up the card deck to get an answer, and got a very interesting answer. The card that I pulled, I think it was actually about a relationship. That's what the card was about, but it had a line in it that was very clearly aimed at me. The line said, "You're not trusting your own intuition." I thought, well, thank you very much, but you're probably right. I'm not trusting my own intuition. And that's fairly common, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty easy to just kind of slip away from that.
Well, and it really is. And I think because we're all, we're these spiritual beings having this earthly experience, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And here we are, we're surrounded and bombarded with feelings and all this stuff every day, all the time. And, even those of us that do our damnedest to put this into daily practice and everything we do, we're still surrounded by, like, is that really what I'm getting? Or, or like the stresses of different things, because, and I think I've shared this before too, even with you, Walt, is like, if my wife asked me something, a question to answer intuitively, or a psychic question.
Right.
But sometimes it's harder because when it's somebody very close to you, say like a daughter, a son, a spouse, somebody that, or maybe a parent, or is if you can't separate your emotions
Yes.
from that. And for example, maybe it's a financial question, that my wife might ask. Well, the answer would also affect me, right?
Yeah, right.
So I want a good turnout.
That's a conflict of interest, really, is what that
Really,
is.
and it is. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, I want to be the vessel. Like I want to be a clear vessel. I don't want to be swayed in a sense because she's coming to me.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? And sometimes, quite honestly, I think we've shared over the different episodes, different ways how people can try to remove themselves from the emotion of the outcome. Remember the F it, right? The mantra, and like trying to blind, in a sense, blind yourself, or asking blind questions, using tools, different things like that, or just practice. But quite honestly, there are times when you just can't. And that's okay. And to be okay with that and saying, you know what, I can't remove myself emotionally from that. I need to have the psychic. Who is the psychic's psychic? Just like who is the doctor's doctor, right? Who is the massage therapist? Who do they go to when they need answers? And that's why they usually have a tight-knit community of like people that they know, like, and trust, that they can turn to say, I'm kind of at a crossroads. I need some guidance. I think it's so crazy.
From the people who are involved in the show here, or who have been guests here, life coaches and psychics, mediums like yourself, people who do energy work, all kinds of stuff. They go to other people who do the same thing they do. So the life coaches go to a life coach. The psychic people go to psychic people. The energy workers go to energy workers. Yeah, it's very consistent how that happens.
Well, because every one of us walking this earth is looking for validation or answers. They're seeking it in some way. And a lot of people think that if we're doing this work, or if we're providing this for people, that, you must be able to disconnect on your own. And it's like, not all the time. Like, like, who is the mechanic's mechanic? Like, because that mechanic's busy, or by the end of the week, it's like, how do you, so who does that work? And, so it's kind of interesting to me, because it's like, here we have this ability to connect, but yet it's interesting how emotions, if you have the flow of information, and then emotions can come in and block it, or, or we're already wanting a predestined or predetermined outcome. Because, face it, everybody wants a positive outcome in their message. Be like, you're in alignment with a tremendous amount of abundance. Well, is that partly? Yeah, kind of. It's like, it depends where it's going with it. As long as you're, got your shit together, I guess. It's like, but here's, it's like, but maybe that would be a good title for the vague psychic. Be like, yeah, kind of. I don't know. Just figure it out. You're close enough. Close enough. The vague. Oh God, I got to market that now. The vague psychic. Be like, yeah, I think so. I don't know. Today, tomorrow, next week. I'm not really sure. Well, next question.
I think there was a comedian who did a routine similar to that. I think it was for a Jewish psychic, and the Jewish psychic it was like a stereotypical Jewish person, but voicing psychic ideas.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. Oh, that would be so funny.
That was great.
But yeah, that's the thing, right? It's trying to provide clarity and accuracy by not getting myself involved, and just being truly saying, this isn't about me. I'm just the vessel, right? And just showing up, just like a glass. And, you know, so just like Lily, you know, had nothing to do, the previous time, had nothing to do about me, or anybody else. It was Lily, and Lily had the answers all along. Right.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and that's what I believe. We all have the answers.
Well, all you really did was give her a little push in terms of how to draw those answers in.
Sure. It really probably just validated for her that she was on the right path. It's like,
absolutely.
Yep, you're right in there. Keep on going.
By the way, if anybody wants to know, I mean, I mentioned how psychics go to other psychics and so forth. Who do podcast hosts go to? We go to everybody.
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah, but no, I love it. So it's interesting because a lot of people, that's sometimes a misconception. I think that's, you know, who goes to who, or how do you get clarity when you're the one that gives clarity? Or, you know, so all right. Well, thank you for those questions sent in. If you have your own questions you want Dean to answer, and you're not listening to the live stream, which pretty much accounts for 99% of the listenership, use the LOA Today app, or just send an email to walt@loatoday.net, and we'll be glad to include your question on the show. Dean loves doing these things, and I don't think the answers. You know, so by all means, participate to become a part of the conversation. We love that. So let's continue what we were doing the last couple of times. We've done 3 weeks now of psychic experiments, and I don't really have anything clear in mind, you know, but I don't have a particular idea in mind of what to do differently this time. I know we talked last time about how we've been making progress. We've been seeing it from people who are listeners on the show, on the live stream rather, that we were getting some really, you know, pretty good in many cases. Almost everybody was able to get at least one thing out of a card or one thing out of a the different colors, and
it was pretty cool how that was happening. So
for sure.
I just wanted to ask you, I mean, I did look into, I can't think what they're called. There was a psychiatrist or a psychologist from like the 1930s who came up with these 6 card shapes, and his name begins with a Z, and I can't remember what it is, but Zener or something like that.
And so in the are you talking more the parapsychology? Yep. So where the 2 wavy lines, I think there was like some diamonds. They're odd geometric shapes and different things. They're random. Look randomness, but they're kind of uniform as far as, I think they actually have cards, but then trying to, hey, you know, tell me what you're seeing, or you know, what you're getting with that. Yeah, for sure.
Or I think I saw a special one time where they were interviewing some aspect of the military where they were trying to experiment with this stuff, and they would have shapes that were like, you know, a red circle or a yellow square or a green triangle or things like that, you know, to see if could you get the color, could you get the shape, just to see what you could get out of it.
Anytime anybody goes to that, my mind absolutely 100% goes right to the scene of Ghostbusters, back to the original, and where Bill Murray, of course, being the character that he is in the show, where he has one female, and I don't know if you guys remember it, but the one female, and she's getting everything like 100%, like nailing it, and he's like, no. It's like, and she's getting it like 100%, and then of course it flips to a scene where a very you know, attractive young lady is there, and it just not even close to being accurate, and he's like, oh my god, are you a natural? So it was kind of funny. Every time somebody does that, it immediately goes to Bill Murray and just the character that he was, and so I'm like, oh, probably not that way, but
not that way.
But that's the comedian way, yeah. So,
God.
But for sure, we can do some more cards if you would like. There's another fun one we can do is what I call psychic bingo, and where of course you don't call the letters, but where, you know, you actually turn the crank and trying to guess the number that comes up on the ball. That's another fun one. You know, and then objects or colors or different things like that.
I'll tell you honestly, after the last experiment show we did, I actually went on to Amazon to see if I could find a random number generation machine, for like lottery or something like that,
Oh
just to
yeah,
give us
yeah,
something to play with. And they actually have them. There, you can actually, for like your local raffle or something like that, you can buy
sure,
a machine that will, pop up a ping pong ball or whatever you want to do.
sure.
I was impressed. I didn't know that they actually had them.
Well, I'm sure you can even just Google. I think there's a random number generator. You can probably get an
That's
app
true.
on your laptop or
Yep.
your phone, and you can just, whatever random number. And I think a lot of radio stations actually use them of generating the lucky number or whatever, and
Right.
then, trying to, do whatever promotional giveaway. But so yeah, there's a lot of neat things that you can do. And I want to share for those that are listening that, really this is limited by your imagination. So
Mm.
whether they're oracle cards, whether they're, tarot, or whether they're, bingo balls, whatever they're, whatever they are, anything that you can have somebody control, like as far as randomness, and where you can try, or other people can try to tune into and see what they get, whether it's, it can be anything from shapes to densities. So you can have squishy stuff, like something that's water, something that's solid. You can have different things, scents. You could have really anything.
Which is
Food,
cool, really.
sky's the limit. So yeah, it's kind of fun when you get into it. And here's the thing that I would also challenge maybe those parents that are out there. You can get your kids involved, and maybe and they would surprise you.
Why is that?
Well, here's why I would share is that my kids, I got a 10-year-old and I got a 15-year-old, and my kids have been tremendously gifted from birth, right? And I'm not just saying that as a biased parent, but actually validation. It is such a pain in the butt as a parent to get gifts for intuitive children that we even try to trick them during Christmas so they don't know what's wrapped. They're like, they just pick it up and they're holding the container like this, and they're like, oh yeah, that's that train. And it's like, and they're not even shaking it. Like, and we'll put like, we've tried everything from putting medicine, empty medicine bottles with rocks. We put extra soup cans. About the only thing that has worked, Walt, this is about the only thing that we found that worked one year, is that we took all my son's gifts and put my daughter's names on them. And then all my, son's gifts, we put, we just switched names. So then, on Christmas, we'd say, all right, here's your gifts. And then saying, but don't open anything yet. So they'd have all their piles and be like, all right, everybody switch. And they're looking at us like, so then they're thinking, right? So they couldn't figure it out. And that was the only year that we actually stumped them. And the rest of them, it was just, me and my wife were like, why do we even spend money on wrapping paper? Like, I don't even know why we wrap them, but I was like, I can
tell you why. I don't know about your house. I can tell you why we wrap them in our house. We go to what they call the Container Store, which has absolutely gorgeous wrapping paper. So we don't really care if you know what's in the gift. We just want it to look good.
Nice. Well, I'm sure that would be the case as well. I think the closest that kind of store is about 3 hours away from us. So
yeah, so it's probably not going to work so well. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
okay. Nice, but yeah. So definitely, but going back to the kids, I would share is make it kind of fun. It doesn't have to be weird or anything. See if they can guess what mom or dad or aunt, uncle, whomever has. In the bag. Can you guess what the object is, what the number is, what the, make it into a game. So it's kind of fun. And letting them to express and exercise their intuition in a fun way. And here they're thinking, well, it's just, some silly game that my parents thought up, but but it's, really, like I said, sky's the limit of how you do that. So
when you were talking about how you can Google a random number generator, I thought, well, I think I'll just do that while you're talking.
Yeah.
And so I did and found one, and it's a Google random number generator. It's not even an app. It's just part of a Google search result. And it came up with a little graphic that says minimum 1, maximum 10, and then a number popped up. So it gave me a random number to get the thing started. So I'm just going to ask you, do you think you can come up with the random number between 1 and 10 that it came up with? And anyone who's listening to the live stream, feel free to jump in. What's your first impression about what came up on the random number generator when Google popped up the result for me?
I'll go.
See if anybody's good at it.
I would go first. I'll take a stab at it. I would say the number 6.
Okay. Any other guesses? Anybody else want to jump in? They're really quiet. The live stream just got really quiet. I don't think anybody really wants to at this point. They're like, I don't want to go. All right, we'll do it. F it, right?
There is no wrong answer.
Well, maybe I can actually give them a little bit of encouragement.
8.
Jeffrey's going to jump in with 8. Oh, here we go. Karina's jumping in with, my number for my son was 6. Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, yep. Okay.
So we got 2 6s and an 8 so far.
Yep.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. So drum roll, please. The answer is actually 6.
Whoa! Check that out.
We got a Facebook user that came in at 7, but yeah.
7.
So 2 guys got it. 2, you were right. It was a 6.
Okay.
That was
Interesting.
Very good, guys. Really good. I'm impressed.
There you go. Virtual high five, Karina.
Yep. Well done. Well done. That was beautiful. So,
awesome.
Okay. Well, what else can we do? Let's do a couple more. Let's see what we come up with for a game here. So I got my cards here. What do you got? You got your horse cards? You got something else?
Yeah, I got the horse cards kicking over here.
Okay. I'm going to cut the deck. I've already shuffled this a few times, so I'm just going to go with cut. But I'm going to let you go first because I just did one. And Karina's applauding. All right. Way to go.
Woo.
And for Jeffrey and Facebook user, just remember the mantra. F it.
F it. All right, here we go. We'll pull. There we go. First card. I'm not even going to show you because remember those horse cards. They got a bunch of color and different things. But so if you want to tune into the card I'm holding in my left hand.
And I instantly got a black horse with like silver white highlights. That was the first thing I got. So I'm going to throw that out there.
Okay.
And his head was turned. Like he, instead of like a horse in profile running or something like that, like either his body was, you're looking at the side of his body, but his head was turned toward you or something like that. The head was turned from the body in some way.
Okay. Good.
So I got that. Anybody else got anything? I always have to remember too. There's a delay.
Dark colored horse.
A dark colored horse. Karina. Okay. Yeah, they're always running about 20 to 30 seconds behind us, and I have to remember that. I keep looking. Where's everybody? Oh, okay, here they are.
Right. What the heck?
Anybody else jumping in?
Shall I do the reveal?
I think you do the reveal. Yes.
All right. You ready for this? Dun dun
Here we
dun,
go.
dun 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 dun.
Ooh.
Oh. So it's got some dark aspects to it, but look at the profile. When you were talking, Walt, about how it's turned looking at me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's perfect, right? And then
I can see we got to clarify too, because one of the Facebook users said, "What are we doing?" And the answer to that is we are trying to exercise our psychic ability to whatever degree we have them. And I think I will put out there that Dean's psychic ability is significantly better than mine. He'll disagree with that. So that'll get you started. But the point is, we go at the thing with just playing it like a game, just to see what happens. We don't worry if we get something wrong. If it's just how close can we come? Can we get any of it right? And Dean's going to draw some cards that he's got that are horse horse-based cards. I've got some spirit cards, and we're just going to see how much of it can we get. It's on the card.
We're doing some random intuition development / psychic development games, if you will. So guessing, Walt's got a random number generator going, and we're pulling some different cards, obviously, and see if we can tune in.
Here's a Facebook.
Okay, how did you guess the horse? Yeah. So it was put out earlier, was that I had a horse deck.
So all the cards have horses.
Yep, they all have horses on them, and they have a message on the other side, which I'm going to read here in a minute. So kind of going into that, knowing that if I draw a card, that it's going to have a horse on it, but more so like, what color, do you get any colors? Do you get any sensations? Kind of go through a mental checklist of, okay, what sensations am I getting? Do I see any numbers? Do I feel anything? Do I hear anything? And it doesn't necessarily saying, a chocolate horse with black, or it's looking at me. It could be anything from, I think last time there was, oh, good Lord. There was words like cold and, winter, and there was a lot of different, So there was a lot of different, but let me read you the message of this card, because sometimes it tends to speak to people a little bit deeper than the aspect. So the name of the card is called Ready to Pull. And at the time in your life, you have had to push forward and have been known to create the energy to make things happen or push them through. At this time, however, you are being asked to pull, not push. You will use your strength and move forward in faith at a steady pace, perhaps assisting others who need to have you take the load while they rest. Instead of things happening, you are asked to allow them to flow and unfold for you as you move ahead in strength and steadiness. Breathe deeply and feel the differences as you take up the slack and quietly move into the next chapter. So there is the message of Ready to Pull. And again, Walt, as Walt says that his abilities are different than mine. Well, guess what? All our abilities are different than each other, but it doesn't mean that my abilities are better than Walt's or vice versa. There is no comparison. In reality, it's just, it's how somebody's, oh, that's awesome. Somebody posted, I love that. It resonated. So the message of that's awesome. All right.
That's very good. That's one of the reasons why we like to do the cards, because they have messages, and the messages almost always, they always reach somebody who's listening, and almost always it's somebody who's in the live stream or who's one of the co-hosts or whatever, somebody who's directly involved in the recording of the show. But it inevitably reaches a number of people, including people who are listening to the recording later on. I also want to point out, I mean, you have used the beautiful mantra of F it to help basically encourage us to not worry about if we get stuff wrong. And I want to point out, I got one piece wrong and I got one piece right, and I'm really excited about the part that I got right. I said it was a black horse with silver or white streaks on it, or highlighting, and that the horse's head was turned toward me. And to me, the bigger one is that the horse's head was turned toward me. The reason that's the bigger one for me is, I've told you before, I don't visualize well. I have a very difficult time creating images in my mind. So most images are black. Most images are very dark and murky, and there's not a whole lot of color to them. So for me to say, well, the horse's head was turned to me, that was huge.
That was huge. I was like, holy crap.
I actually would have been shocked if the horse was actually black. That part would have been really a big surprise. Because I always say it's black.
Here's something I'm going to challenge maybe you, Walt, and anybody else listening if they want to do it as well, is I would like, I would challenge you today to celebrate your losses. So if playing today along and you get it wrong, you straight up get it wrong, whatever, maybe you get some hits, but I want you to celebrate what you got wrong. And here's why. Is because we're transmuting the energy. Because what do we do when we get something wrong? Like, there's part of us that is right.
Mhm.
So I would challenge you to celebrate getting it wrong, because to get it wrong means you have to give effort, means that you have to put things in action, and that means that you're taking steps to improve your intuitive self, right? And so that, in that sense of saying, you know what, it's like, woohoo, I got one wrong. So, and by doing that, and, whether you do it in your head or out loud or whatever you want to do, is, you're transmuting that energy from a negative to a positive. And so when you're doing that later on, when you're down the road, if you get to a practice of doing that, if you get something wrong, you're just going to let it roll off your shoulder. You're going to keep on going. It's not going to give, instead of just a little hiccup, like if, for example, if you said this was a black horse, which it's white, right? And it's like, you might let that one little detail muck you up for the rest of the day. And it's like, that's just one little detail. Just keep on going.
Right.
But saying, sometimes we get caught up in those little things. And if we can dance it off or transmute it, right? So celebrate your losses, and then it'll completely change the dynamic of that.
What you're talking about, it does make sense. And what you're talking about is very similar to what the inventor Thomas Edison did. That's how he invented the light bulb. He got it wrong 10,000 times.
Right.
And he made a big deal out of that.
Right.
He found, and the way he made a big deal about it is he said, well, I just found another way not to invent the electric light bulb. Woo! All right. One more out of the way.
But sometimes within too, when we look within the failure, we might actually be learning a shorter way. I remember, it takes me to a quick story about the first time, because we're in lawn mowing weather, right? And the first time I ever took the mowing deck off my riding lawnmower. And the first time that I did it, I mean, it was just, I was like, am I doing it right? And I was taking, and it felt like it took like 5 hours to do it, because I was like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And then the more I did it, even though I was still bungling things up, like I became more efficient at it because I learned. And so even though I wasn't Mr. Handy, fix it Felix, whatever, is, I was finding the little gains within doing that, right? And so understand that there are little, even if they're minuscule, can be little victories within that. So there are positives sometimes when all we're seeing is a negative. So so I challenge you guys, if you get it wrong, celebrate it, and just transmute it, and we'll just move on, and it's all cool. So
now I'm going to put a little spin on what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Because what we've been doing is we've been drawing the card and then not showing it until after everybody guesses, and then we show the card. I know which card it is. I've already cut the deck. I haven't looked at the card yet, and you're going to have to kind of trust me that I haven't looked at the card yet. But I'm not going to even look at the card myself.
Ooh,
and I'm going to do that because I was reading about how, like, with that guy Zenner or whatever his name was, who had his experimental cards that he worked with, he got a lot of criticism. Of course, anybody who's doing this kind of thing is going to get a lot of criticism. That's just part of the game. Right. He got a ton of criticism, and basically they were saying, well, you're giving signals. You're inadvertently giving signals to people so they can tell you what's on the card and all that kind of thing. Right. So I don't know of any way to completely eliminate that, but I figure this might come close. So I'm not even going to look at the card. That way I can't give a signal to anybody about what's on it, and let's see how we do with it.
Okay.
And if we miss it, F it. We'll celebrate the effort. Yay, I missed it. All right.
I love it. Okay.
So, I'm not going to guess what's on the card, because then I could just see the critics saying, well, you actually knew, so you were feeding answers by guessing when you weren't really guessing. So I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to say the card's there and I haven't looked at it yet, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So anyone who's listening to the live stream, if you want to jump in and just, what's your best guess? Your first guess that comes, the one that go with the first instinct, whatever it is, the first impulse, the flash that came to you. And if you want to type it into the chat, we will see how well you're doing as well as how well Dean's doing. And then every time we miss it, we're going to say, yay, we missed it.
Well, I'll go with mine. The first thing that I saw was a spiral. And then I saw the colors white and purple.
Spiral, white and purple. Okay.
Yep. So I saw like a spiral. And
that's
then
interesting. White
and purple.
All right.
Yep.
I'm curious. I want to look at this card to see if there's a spiral and a white and purple on there, but the spiral in particular, that's really interesting. Anybody else in the live stream want to jump in? Where they're kind of quiet right now. We'll give them like 10 seconds because the video has to catch up. But
green
lines. Okay,
green
there's
lines.
one. All right. Anybody else? So we got green lines add on to white, purple, and a spiral. I think everybody's a little bit timid. I don't blame them. I understand. I mean, I if I weren't the host, I would have been timid too. But I just throw it out there because I figure, well, I got to get the thing going. So
I'd be like, they don't know me. We'll destroy.
Yeah, right. Except they listen to me 5 days a week. But other than that, they don't know me. But hey, I got the horse facing me. I mean, I figured that was pretty
that's
good.
good. That's really good, though. That's really good.
Okay, I guess we're gonna just go with a few
the green lines.
Sorry. Green lines, white, purple, and a spiral. So
yeah.
Ooh. Oh, this is pretty. All right, I'll show it to the camera.
Ooh, interesting.
You aren't really seeing it quite as much here. Are you seeing a lot of green because the card has a lot of green?
I'm seeing a little bit, but maybe it's.
I'm
also seeing some of the background.
Is the background more blue or green?
Yeah, blue, like blue and white.
Yeah, because I'm seeing blue on my monitor too, but what the actual card is actually green. The blue is green, so the camera isn't reproducing it accurately.
Interesting. Okay.
I say that because our Facebook user said green lines, and so I want to make sure the Facebook user understands they actually got the green right, even though you can't really see it properly here.
Yeah. Woo! I got it wrong. Yeah.
Well, is there a spiral here? Actually, I think. Well, I can see a couple places where you could say there's a spiral. I don't know exactly what it is, but up here, you see this little action going on here?
Yeah, what is that? A butterfly? What is that?
I don't know what it is, but it's got a swirlish aspect to it.
Oh, okay.
And she has like this trail behind her that includes that section. You can almost see that turning into a swirl. So I don't know. It's not a spiral per se, but I think it's swirlish.
Okay.
So I think you get a little credit for that one.
Yeah.
And let's see, is there purple well, there's definitely white in here. I don't see any purple.
And I just got to say for the record, it's not because of your background either. So your visual background is swirly with the purple and white. But
this is true. Yeah. This is true.
Yeah.
And it's a green screen, which means it's trying to come through any place where it finds green.
Right.
Which makes it even more challenging. Because that right now, I don't know if you can see it where it says all tied up. That's
on the bottom.
It's written on a green background. That's why you're seeing
got it.
The stars come through there. So there's actually a lot of green on this thing, which is interesting.
There you go.
So well done to the Facebook user.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
Who said, whoa, that's interesting. That's what they typed in there.
Awesome.
I agree with you completely. And for the purple prediction from Dean, we say, yay!
Yeah. Woo!
I love it. All right. We got about 8 minutes left. Let's do one or two more cards. What you got over there?
Okay, sounds good. All right. Go ahead. I got one drawn if you guys want to go.
You already got drawn. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. I got to just settle in here. Last time I got something really quick. This time it's kind of, my brain is kind of quiet. So we'll see what we get. I'm drawing a blank. Okay. Wash? Something about washing.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Maybe they're giving the horse a bath. I don't know. Wash. That's weird. And what else?
Horse running by some kind of water was the one on the chat room.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Wash and water. Yeah, I'm getting water too. Wash and water go together, and that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with water as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to say there's a blue there too, like watercolor blue.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else from the live stream? We got one person on the live stream saying the horse running by some kind of water.
Yep. Do the reveal.
Do the reveal.
All right. I got my reading glasses ready. So interesting. I love how you said specifically watercolor blue, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun. Look at the colors. Whoa, where are we? In the main.
Yeah.
But I want to. So if you look down, where is my finger? Right here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the background. It's kind of, I don't know. I guess you could say it kind of almost looks like a nighttime painting or something, but that could be construed as like water. But I love the colors, and it almost just looks like, watercolors here in the main, and then how it kind of flows through, very representative of water. But let me read you the message.
Okay. I was supposed to read the message on the other one. I didn't do that, so I should get that out as well. I'll look that up while you're reading.
This one is look beyond, and your goal is within reach. You've been looking ahead to this goal for some time, looking towards it and focusing energy, time, and intention to attain it. It is at hand, and yet seems somewhat elusive. Right now, it may even be appearing to slip away, or your pending approach may seem to slowing things down. Wisdom is asking that you deepen your trust at this time. Trust is knowing that you have done all that needs to be done to achieve this goal. The seeds were sown, watered, and tended well. Fruition, I can't even speak, and harvest are at hand. Now is the time for you to look beyond this goal to the next one in line, the one that has been taking shape in your mind. As you begin to envision and focus on the goal on the horizon, the immediate goal will be easily sliding to completion. So that is
beautiful.
That card. So
all right,
very cool. And the background too is I should add, it's got like a purpley hue. Yeah, but it's got some tinges of like a sea green and a orange, and it's really cool.
That's very nice. All right.
Yeah.
And as for the wash, I'm just going to say, yay, I got that part wrong.
I love it. I love it.
So I looked up the card for the description for this card number 23, which is all tied up. That's the one that had all the green in it that you can't really see well on the monitor. And this one is subtitled "Lack of Emotion or Sensible Freedom." The upright position, so upright portion. This card shows a woman ties around wrists, body, right? In your things up, the restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. If this isn't technically the case for you, what's tying you up is your own personal stuff. Look at your life and see how you can be your own jailer. Ooh, okay, yeah. Are you tying yourself up in some emotional angst or in a negative habit that you refuse to deal with? If so, it's time to cut the vines and make some serious changes now. You needn't live in your self-imposed jail any longer. Ooh, that kind of cuts right to it, but it's good. There's also an affirmation that goes with it. The affirmation says, I release stuck energy, old habits, and restrictions My life is opening up. I am free to choose my reality. So that was good. Did you see what was going on screen, or was that just happening at my end?
I didn't see that, but basically it sounded like your voice started getting choppy and like modulated, and it was funkiness.
Because then your picture went black, and then my picture went black, and then your picture went black. I don't know if that's what everybody else was seeing, but I'm thinking
I didn't
well,
see
this
that,
is pretty
but
wild.
yeah, I didn't see that part. But
maybe that was just going on with my computer. You never know. But yes, I agree with.
I love the affirmation.
Yeah, I love the affirmation too. Oh, another from Facebook user. The connection is breaking the card reading. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was breaking up pretty bad. Yeah.
So that means we lost that part.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I bother reading it again, or maybe I don't know. Well, we got a few minutes. Should I read it again? Why not?
Sure.
See if we can get it through this time. Okay. Yeah. So universe, you got to clear the signal for me. All right. It's got to come through nice and clear. So it says, upright, this card shows a woman tied up with vines around her wrists, body, and arms. Receiving this card upright represents a situation in your life where things seem to be severely stuck. A major drama may be going on around you, from moving forward, or it may be that some technicalities are blocking your way. Perhaps you're waiting for a contract to be signed or an agreement to be made. Whatever is holding things up, the restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. If this isn't technically the case for you, what's tying you up is your own personal stuff. So look at your life and see how you can be your own jailer. Are you tying yourself up in some emotional angst or in a negative habit that you refuse to deal with? If so, it's time to cut the vines and make some serious changes now, because you needn't live in your self-imposed jail any longer. So, card worth reading again, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, because in the case, there's at least one user, multiple users that were looking for that exact message. There was something in there.
And as I was sitting here listening to that message, I was wondering, is that a nice way of the universe telling me to get my shit together? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Oh, well, here we go. Okay. So what did I just say? Thank you for reading it. That was amazing. Totally felt a vibe through my whole body. So apparently, now there's exactly one user who needed to hear that message. That's perfect.
There we go. I love it.
A couple minutes left. Just want to remind people once again, if you have your own question that you want to ask the military medium next time that he's on next Tuesday, use the LOA Today app to send that in, or just send in an email via walt@loatoday.net or through Facebook or whatever. Any way you can get the message to me is fine. And also, most of you are subscribing now. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Go to loatoday.net/download. You can subscribe, and you can also get the LOA Today app that way. And the beauty of the app is once you have that installed, it's an easy way to send in your question for Dean. So, again, take advantage of that, because we want to get you more and more involved in the conversation. And we appreciate every single one of you, just as we appreciate you, Dean. I mean,
we appreciate you, Walt.
Well, thank you very much. So. And on top of everything else, you got 6 today. I mean, that was good. 6. You got the first guess, 1 out of 10. We only did 1 reading, and bang, he got it. I love it. Oh, and that's sweet. And here we are from the Facebook user too. I really appreciate you guys. That was a good time.
Oh,
good.
Fun.
That's the whole point. This is your daily dose of happiness.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is good stuff. So thank you, Dean. I look forward to talking to you next week. We may actually have a third person joining us on a regular basis.
Ooh, fun.
This is not totally ironed out just yet, and it's somebody that the audience knows, but I won't give you any more clues just yet.
Okay, see if I can use my psychic 2 cents. Maybe.
The spidey sense is going to see if you can identify who it is. Okay, so we'll check in on that. So thank you very much. Thank you, live streamers. Especially thank you to podcast listeners, without whom we would not have a podcast. And I just want to say, I say this often, but I want to say it this time particularly. I appreciate you guys. You have really more than me to do the podcast. I totally appreciate you. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.